Okay, so to affect the property of this physical and chemical property of the diesel fuel. So here you can see this is an environmental solution technology. The company will say that's why it is termed as environmental friendly. So this invention is for the purpose of protection of Mother Nature and minimizing industrial waste. And if the company say profit, it will give more jobs to Filipino people. So thank you. So here we can see that the oil restoration apparatus has the capability to absorb physical impurities, water or moisture content that will return back the oil or whatsoever fuel or liquids to its original state or nearly to its original state. So that is why all these activities, I have done it in Laguna, in Binyan, Laguna, which is my business location. So I will discuss also to you that I was able to restore oil restoration services in National Power Corporation, Iligan Hydro Power Plant, oil restoration. So here, this we can see August 6 and 7. So the water hydroelectric So the machines in Iligan National Power Corporation, hydro, electric power plant. So as we can see here, the other side is the so cutting, machining oil on the left side, before and after, as you can see. On the right side, hydraulic oil 46 die-cast machine. It was in Makoto Metal Technology, situated at MEPSA 2, Mactan. Next. So I will discuss the uses and purpose of the oil restoration. As a mechanical engineer, it is my utmost desire to protect the environment, help save Mother Earth, prevent, minimize land, air, and water pollution. So we can see the law for life, land, air, and water. Nature doesn't need man, but man needs nature. If one of them is damaged, land, air, or water, there is no life. Third, cost reduction to companies by reducing the industrial waste that turns into profit. Help save and contribute job to the Filipino people. And thirdly, the preservation of nature for future generations. So, as you can see, the invention has been recognized by
Putol-putol.
So we are optimistic that on this endeavor, the production of oil by petrochemical companies will be minimized. So as we are evolving, reusing and recycling the existing oil in the Philippine industries.
Lecture naman. Yan yung gusto mo. Michelle Watson.
So here, slide number 23. So we have only one planet Earth. We have to take care of it. We shall live responsibly, support lot. We have only one planet Earth. We have to take care of it. As mechanical engineers, we shall live responsibly. Support Filipino inventions that has profoundness and impactness to Philippine industries and help improve, protect environment. So I invite industrial companies in the Philippines, including with the support of our government, that this is the right time for the marriage of economy and ecology. Next, extra inventions. As a member of Rotary Club of Santa Rosa, Laguna, I was able to donate special virgin coconut oil to Santa Rosa Hospital for COVID-19 patients, mild asymptomatic. It was received by Dr. Pataksil, Hospital Director. The other slide, my inventions also in organic products, in which I give solution also to skin problems of humanity, and fleece and ticks organic powder for dog. I am preventing the Lyme disease program. So, hingi lang ako ng pasensya kasi ang problema talaga internet connection eh. Tinulungan na ako sa mga anak ko. That's all, and good morning.
All right. Thank you po, Engineer Alipulia. Can you all hear me sa Zoom? Okay, you can hear me po sa Zoom. Okay, at this point in time, sa program po natin, sa kabilang room, andun po yung JPSME natin. As Jeff po is talking about the career path of the JPSME. So kung gusto nyo mag-join, it's actually intended for students. Pero kung gusto nyo mag-join sa room na yun, you're free to do so. For now, the next part of our program is a product presentation of Liling commercials. And I guess they're not ready yet. So kindly stand by and watch these videos that we're going to share.
Kung tatanungin mo ako noon, di ko akalain na ganito kalayo mararating ko.
Oh, ipasok na yung Supreme Pipe dito. Morning, sir.
Mahabang panahon at maraming pagsubok rin ang napagdaanan. Pero di ko makakalimutan na lahat nagsimula lang sa maliit na pangarap. Naalala ko pa noon, parati akong sinasabihan ni tatay na sa matibay na paninindigan, lahat ng pangarap kayang abutin. Gusto kong maging katulad ni tatay. Nagtatayo siya ng malalaking gusali sa Maynila. At kahit di kami nakakasama araw-araw, nananatili siyang haligi ng aming tahanan. Tulad ng pinangarap niya para sa akin, gusto ko rin ng matibay na kinabukasan.
Papa! Miss na kita!
Oh anak! Anong ginagawa niyo dito? Sorry, busy lang yung daddy mo ha. Pero alam ko na. Tour na lang kita.
Okay. Papa, anong gagawin nila dyan?
Maglalatag sila ng matibay na pundasyon, anak. Yung Supreme Steel Pipe, kagaya ng nakikita kong marating. Nais ko naman ipasa ang mga pangarap ko sa susunod na henerasyon. Alam kong marami pang paghamon ang darating. At naniniwala ako na sa anumang pagsubok, sabay kaming mananatiling malakas, matibay, at matatag sa paglipas ng panahon.
Iba na bang steel pipes ang ginagamit nyo ngayon?
Hindi, Tay. Superior steel pipes yan. Gawa rin ng Supreme Steel Pipes. Subok na sa kalidad at tibay. Ilang henerasyon na natin pinagkakatiwalaan.
Supreme Steel Pipes, the brand you will use.
Superior Steel Pipe, the brand you will trust.
So they're one of our major sponsors for this Visayas Regional Conference. And for those on-site participants, you will be receiving a bag or a conference kit courtesy of the Supreme Pipe. So thank you, Supreme Pipes, for your sponsorship. Yes. All right. So before we proceed, is Liling Commercial or Nellis ready for their presentation? Yung product presentation po natin. Kindly stand by po. We'll give you 2 minutes before you start your presentation. If you acknowledge that you are here, kindly send a message na lang po sa chat box natin. Thank you. And aside from that, how about we do our roll call sa ating online participants? Okay ba? Tingnan natin kung sino yung pinakamaraming delegates sa 7th Visayas Regional Conference. May I hear from the Aklan chapter? Sana ba yung mga Aklan? Pa-wave naman dyan sa mga ano nyo. May wave at emote dyan. From the Aklan chapter. Hello po from Aklan. Yes, ayun, naka-wave na sila. Naka-clap hands and wave. How about the Cebu chapter? Cebu chapter delegation. Sana ba mga Cebu chapter? Alright, ayun. Alright, ang daming delegates ng Cebu. How about the Cebu West chapter? Cebu West, may Cebu West ba? Andun, may Cebu West andun. Sa isang room. How about yung ating CHBE chapter? Yung CHBE chapter parang andito yata sa on-site kasi working committee. How about our chapter from OKC or MOCA na nga chapter? Pa-wave naman dyan, mga OKC members natin. Alright, ano pang chapter yung hindi ko na-mention? Marami pa. Toledo chapter. Toledo chapter. Sana yung mga Toledo chapter? Ayun, hello po. Yan. How about sino pa? Mandaue chapter. Mandaue chapter, nasa ano kami? Home court nyo kami ngayon. Dito sa Big Hotel, Mandaue City, Cebu, just across Park Mall. Ayun, from Mandaue. How about from Lapu-Lapu chapter? Lapu-Lapu chapter, saan na kayo? Ayun, mayroong mga, ano tayo? Mga participants tayo naka-wave na dyan. Ano pa? Negros Occidental chapter. Negros Occidental, sana. Ayun. Hello po dyan sa Negros, sir. Ano pa? Hindi ko ma-memorize lahat, no? Makati. Meron tayong participant from Makati chapter. Sana ba yung Makati chapter na participant natin? We also have from Palawan. Palawan chapter, sana po kayo. Hindi ko makita. And we have also from Panay chapter. Hindi ko pa ata na-mention si Panay chapter. Panay chapter? Sana ba si Panay? Ayun, sir. Hello, sir. Meron din tayo from Quirino. Yes, hi, sir. Ano pa bang chapter hindi ko na-mention? Cebu North, Cebu East, Iloilo chapter. Tama, Iloilo chapter. Cebu Central. O nga, nandito, Cebu Central. Okay. So, ready na ba si Ling? Hindi pa? Wala pa, okay. Sige, standby lang muna. Mag-roll call pa rin ako. Sino pa pong chapter hindi natin natatawag? Para duly recognized naman ngayong araw na ito. Cebu South. Tama, sir, no. Nakalimutan ko Cebu South eh. Cebu South. Sana ba yung mga participants natin sa Cebu South? Sana ba si Sir Ami? Birthday ni Sir Ami kahapon or nakarang araw. Happy birthday Sir Ami, Lauron. Ano pa? Chapter. Na-mention ko na ba lahat? Baka may magano. Baka may magdibdib. Umiyak kasi hindi natin na-mention yung chapter nila. Eto. Here. Dato si Katuna from Bohol. Sana kayo, sir? Hindi natin wala ata. Yeah, wala ata sa screen natin. We also have from Palinpinon. Palinpinon and Negros Oriental. We also have chapter from NIC and NOC. Okay. Kaya na ba si Liling? Hindi pa? Okay, sige, standby lang tayo. So ask natin, how about mag-ask tayo ng isang participant? By the way, hindi tayo nakapag-question and answer kay Engineer Aldipulya. So while we are waiting for Liling, meron po ba sa mga nag-attend na may question kay Sir Ray Aldipulya? If you have a question for Sir Ray po, kindly raise your hand po para matanong natin siya while we wait for our next presenter. Sir Ray, andyan po ba kayo?
Okay, ma'am. Nandito ako.
Okay. So, yun, ang daming nag-raise hands, ang daming gustong mag-question. Sino unahin natin? Sinong first honor? Sinong first honor natin? Mga Zoom moderators. So, sige, unahin natin si from ano yung nakauna? From sino yung naka-raise hand? Raise hand ulit. Sino yung may question kay Sir Ray? Paki-raise na lang po yung hand nyo sa Zoom. Marami yun kanina, bakit wala na ngayon? Or kung hindi stable yung net nyo, you can drop the question sa chat box. And we will be the one to ask po Engineer Ray. So may nag-chat na ba dyan? Wala pa.
There were already questions before in the chat box while Sir Ray was presenting. Can we go over na lang?
Sir, from OKC ba yun? Faborada? Sir Faborada?
Yeah, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, field engineers. Just read several questions while Sir Ray was presenting, no? Baka pwedeng mabalikan ulit yun ng Secretariat.
Sir, tinype niyo po ba sa chat box natin? Okay, at ito yung question ni sir. Sige. So yung question niyo po, sir, is sino ba? We have 3 questions here na nakatali pero hindi po namin na-capture yung name kung sino yung nag-ask. Yung first question is, what is the unit of that viscosity? Ito po ba yon or hindi? Sir
Yeah,
Favorada?
Yes,
Sir?
ma'am. Yun.
galing sa akin yan, pero it's one of the questions.
Sa akin yan, ma'am.
Okay. Sige, i-ask na lang po namin to one by one. So kung sino po yung nag-ask nito sa chat box, paki-claim na lang po ng question na ito at interact na lang po with our speaker. So yung first question po natin sa chat is, what is the unit of that viscosity? So Sir Ray, ano pong answer nito?
Actually, my service is oil restoration. I can filter with a viscosity rating up to 100. So doon sa National Power Corporation Iligan, yung turbine oil nila, ang grade doon 77. So lagpas sa 100, pwede man ako, pero ang reality, matagalan ang oil restoration process. So hanggang 100 lang ako, viscosity rating. So based on my actual experience, kasi dati nag-filter ako ng 150 viscosity grade. So parang hindi na ideal eh. So in reality, as a businessman, so I need profit, I want profit, and I love profit. That's all.
Okay, na-address po ba yung question nyo? Sino pong nag-ask nun? If na-address po, kindly confirm na lang po.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you po. Next question po dito, Sir Ray, is how do we replenish ingredients lost during process to maintain viscosity? Again po, how do we replenish ingredients lost during the process to maintain viscosity?
Actually, ma'am, based on my services, since I filtered 2010 up to 2021, I have no idea. We have no procedure that we have an add-on to the oil condition. Kasi actually, ang nangyari sa Toyota Santa Rosa, hindi natuloy ang procedure namin doon kasi una, hindi sila, sinabihan ko rin sila sa totoo na hindi pa ako recommend na merong addition sa viscosity ingredients. Kasi hindi pa, parang wala pa akong alam dyan ano ang ilagay o whatever. Kasi baka maano ang oil restoration invention ko malagay sa panganib na sitwasyon. So ganyan lang ma'am, ang capacity, ang capability, ang competence ng oil restoration ko. Una, kinuha lang ang physical impurities, chemical impurities, water content, and odor. So yan lang ma'am ang capability ng oil restoration ko. Doon sa laboratory analysis, doon makita ang nangyari sa oil restoration. Pero yung mag-add-on ng whatsoever ingredients, hindi ko pa naranasan ang sitwasyon na yan. Thank you.
Alright. Na-address po ba yung question na to? Okay na po ba? Kung sino man po nag-ask nito, kindly confirm if okay na po. The next question po, Sir Ray, here is, how many recycling cycles for the used oil? What is the cleanliness level in ISO or NAS? Again po, sir, how many recycling cycles for the used oil? What is the cleanliness level in ISO or NAS?
Okay, ma'am. Copy. Based on my experience, the rating of the oil that has been restored or filtered, in terms of machining oil, depende sa anong klaseng oil ang i-filter natin. No? Sa Needed Precision Philippines Corporation, ang viscosity rating ng machining oil nila 10 up to 20. Since 2014 up to present, wala silang itinapon na oil. Kasi una, kung ang proseso lang ay hindi ilalagpas based on experience, 40 to 50, depende sa anong klaseng oil na i-restored, machining oil. So within tolerance, so ang physical appearance niya, ang chemical composition or whatever ingredients, hindi siya mag-deteriorate. O sabihan nga natin, within the tolerance siya sa material composition. Okay, with regards to hydraulic oil, based on experience, the hydraulic oil that has been filtered as in company or Calabarzon, grade 46 and grade 68. So the operating temperature is within 45. Depending on the actual condition that there are a sudden burning of oil, depende. Pag hindi lang siya subject to a high temperature based on experience 60 to 70, ang pag-recycle ng oil, indefinite yan. Kasi only a temperature can change the property of the oil. So that is the truth of the matter based on my experience and my services in oil restoration in Calabarzon. Thank you.
All right?
Oh.
Sige po. Okay na po ba yung question na yon? So, next question po tayo. Sabi po dito, how about the chemical property of the oil? Are they also restored?
Okay, ma'am.
Sir Ray?
So with regards to the chemical property of the oil, the chemical composition of the oil, there are slight difference sa bago at sa nagamit na. Pero doon na nga makita natin sa laboratory oil analysis ang range ng chemical composition. So ang iba, ma'am, doon sa Laguna, ang practice nila, as long as, kasi doon every 3 months o depende, mag-conduct ng oil laboratory analysis. Pag makita nila within the tolerance of its percentage composition, so sila na ang mag-decide if pwede pa ba o hindi pa. So yun na nga, ang chemical composition, ma'am, doon, mismo sa restored oil ko, hindi siya maka-affect kasi there is no heat application, acid or chemicals during the restoration process. Only the impurities, physical impurities, and the water content or moisture has been absorbed. The odor and the color will improve also. So walang ano sa chemical composition na pag mag-undergo sa process ko, mag-deteriorate siya. So it is a truth that chemicals during its process will degrade or deteriorate, but as long as it is in the tolerance level, depende na yan sa company. So yan ma'am ang sagot ko.
All right. So we'll entertain one last question po, sir, ha? Okay. Two na lang po. Last two questions. Oo. Actually, the other one is not really a question, sir, pero they're asking if how much daw is the service cost if they avail your service. So kayo na lang po ang mag-usap about yan kasi it details about the pricing sa service cost ni Sir Ray. So Sir Ray, ano na lang, yung nag-ask ng question, coordinate na lang po kayo kay Sir Ray Aldipulia. Okay po ba?
Ma'am, meron lang akong konting masabi doon ma'am sa posting. Nandoon naman, mabasa naman natin sa slide. More or less 50% from the original cost of the oil in terms of drums. But actually being incentives in tax 10 years holiday by virtue of my patented mechanical invention, I can down that up to 40% from the original cost of the oil. So doon ma'am ang pricing ko sa Calabarzon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you po, sir. That was a question from Cebu West TTSP. Now, our last question for Sir Ray is from OKC, from Engineer Faborada. His question goes, sa kasa, halo-halo yung mga oils. How are we going to process this with your invented machine?
Copy ma'am the question. Actually, before we introduce the oil restoration services to the company, first action of the company is that it should be a segregated oil. Kung ano man ang grade viscosity niya, machining oil, cutting oil, hydraulic oil. Okay, hydraulic oil, if that is a grade of 32, 32 lang in that gram, if 46, 46, and then go on, 68, 68. So hindi pwede mahalo ang 32 to 68 kasi wala tayong tamang viscosity. Kasi viscosity is the main concern. But based on my experience, if we are using hydraulic oil 46 mixed with hydraulic oil 68, we can do the hydraulic system. Since ma'am, to give an point of view of hydraulic system, the hydraulic system, there are three main functions of hydraulic oil. First, to clean, to lubricate, and to give the action of the pressure. So cooling action, lubricating action, and cleaning action. That's the three vital points in hydraulic system. If one of them is inefficient, there should be a material failure on the hydraulic system. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the questions asked. And thank you also for our speaker, Engineer Ray Aldepulia. So at this moment, I'd like to introduce you our next presenter. So at this moment, we'd like to present to you or to give the floor to our product presenter from Liling Commercial Incorporated or Neles. So take it away, Liling Commercial. Hold on. We are.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, sir. I think you are not a Filipino, right, sir?
Yeah, I'm not a Filipino. I'm a Singaporean.
Yes.
I'm
Our
from
product presenter from Liling is a Singaporean national. So please help me welcome Sir Thiam Bun Tu. Sir, take it away.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me share my screen. Give me a minute. Are you able to see my screen? Any feedback from the floor? Can you see my screen? Chiwi, are you
Yes.
there? Okay,
Yes, you
good.
can see. You can see.
Thank you very much. Appreciated. So before I start, first, good morning to everybody. Today with me is Lee Ling Commercial, and myself is from Nellis Asia Pacific Private Limited. I'm based in Singapore, and also with me is Chiwi Yap. Mr. Yap is for Malaysia and Philippines. He's a country manager for Malaysia and Philippines. So thank you for your time today. I'll take the opportunity to share with you who is Nellis and this Nellis positioner. All right. So if you have any question, you can stop me or you can leave the question in the chat box. So overview. All right. This agenda will be the Nellis company overview, and the next topic will be the introduction of this Nellis NDX Smart Positioner. So let's start with this Nellis company overview. This Nellis Corporation was formerly Meso Flow Control. So what happened is in year 2020, around July, this Meso Flow Control, this Meso company, we have demerged, and then it forms into two companies. So the valve division that's under flow control now is under Nellis. All right, so it will be this Nellis company will be an independent listed company, all right, with 100% focus on delivering its mission critical flow control innovations, technology, and services for the continuously evolving needs of global process industry. All right, so if you see any brands in your plant that is Nexo, so that belongs to Nellis, all right, under the new branding. So this is just information. So a bit of this company information. This is our CEO, Mr. Oli Isotolo. So the sales for last year for Nellis Corporation is about 576 million euro. So we have the company started for this valve business, or we call flow control business, since 1950s. So as of today, we have about 2,850 employees worldwide. So we are present in 40 countries. So annually, we deliver about 400,000 valves. Right? Annually, we deliver about 80,000 actuators and about 80,000 smart positioners. So what are our products? All right? Our products are control valve, on-off valve, intelligent safety valve, that what it means is a shutdown valve or venting valve. Then for the accessory, we have this valve controllers, actuators, and limit switches. And of course, we have spare parts and after-sales services as well. All right. So the leading brand for the company, you will see like Nellis, Jamesbury, EasyFlow. So these are the series of the valve, products. So what do we do? All right. We offer valve. All right. We offer actuators. We offer the positioners. So on top of that, we also do the mounting brackets, between the valve and the actuators. We also provide these linkages between the actuators to the positioner. And on top of that, we also do the instrumentation and piping. So long story short, we supply the entire package of the valve assembly. So for the user, you are assured that the whole valve assembly is being assembled well and being tested by one company. So if you have any question or you have any troubleshooting, you only look for one company. So that's easier for you. All right. Okay. So some of the information about what our product, just bear with me a little bit. So these are the control valves that we offer. So we start from the left. This will be our growth valve, linear rising stem growth valve. All right. So on top of that, we also have a rotary growth valve. And on having said that, this is the linear type of control valve, linear rising stem growth valve. But in the control purposes, you can also use rotary type of control valve. So such as this segment valve, right? So it can be used. It has a higher CV, compared to this growth valve, right? But however, it has I would say, moderate delta P. Right? So in comparison for this kind of segment valve compared to this linear growth valve, this linear growth valve is very good for high delta P, high pressure drop. Right. Then moving, the next one will be this eccentric plug valve. So this will withstand higher delta P, compared to R series, but it's also a very good, rotary control valve, right? For dirty media, erosive pressure. All right. So this has an advantage over the group. This linear growth valve is that this type of valve it can handle dirtier media. All right. Which sometimes this linear growth valve is not able to handle. Of course, having said that, ball valve, butterfly valve, which are also a very good control valve because they have very high CV. But in general, from the inheritance of this application, when we talk about control valve, people will always think about rope valve. But ball valve, like this sort of ball valve or rotary type of control valve, they're also very good for control purposes. All right. So we can supply, ball valve. We can also supply the butterfly valve. And last but not least, this very erosive application, such as in FCCU, whereby the media is very abrasive and erosive. All right, we have this type of ceramic ball valve. All right, whereby this type of normal material like stainless steel, sometimes they cannot withstand the abrasive and erosive media. All right, then we have this type of ceramic ball valve. So this is I would say an overview, what we offer in our product, range. So we can supply any of these. We can supply the whole total package, and we can do FAT in the factory to invite you guys to the factory for for the FAT purposes, and we can give you performance certificate for the whole assembly of the valve unit. All right. So what is our services? All right. So in a nutshell, we can support you, from the startup, even before the startup, we can help you to do some kind of budgetary proposal, based on your specification, and then we pass it over to EPC to go to detail engineering, then we can support that. Then in the startup, we can go on site and do some supervision and some kind of training and information sharing. And during the operation maintenance, we will come in and provide you, like predictive maintenance, like shutdown planning, spare part, preparation, so on and so forth. So when during the turnaround, all the critical parts, for the valve is there. So to make your turnaround or shutdown more effective during the opening window. So many of time in the past, what we observe is that during shutdown, there are a lot of emergency, firefighting, such as missing a spare part or dropping down the wrong valve. So this is where, during the operation maintenance phase, we can also come in and help you to do predictive maintenance. From the diagnostic of the valve, we identify which valve are having problem and what is the problem with the valve. Maybe it's the packing is leaking or the seat is leaking, so we can prepare in advance, all right, so that the spare parts around during the shutdown. So after the turnaround, we also can help you in the troubleshooting, and also on the spare part inventory. So we have a very, I would say, big organization of service team that help you to do all these spare part inventory, monitoring the life of the valve assembly, so on and so forth. All right. So to share with you what is our global presence, all right, we have 6 R&D centers more than 40 service centers and more than these 40 countries with operation. So we start from the left. So in Shrewsbury, this Boston side, we have our factory called this Shrewsbury factory. So this is a plant that is making soft-seated valve, soft-seated ball and soft-seated butterfly. Then on top of this is Fergus 4. This is our Estonia factory that's making these limit switches. All right. Then we move on to the right, Helsinki Technology Center. This is our HQ. All right, so we have a HQ building, and we also have a factory in Helsinki. So Helsinki factory, basically they manufacture those metal-seated ball and butterfly. All right. Then coming down, this is a Hogau factory in Germany. This is making this high pressure butterfly valve. Then on the right, we have Saudi Arabia. So this is more of like a supply center. And we also have a supply center in India. And we also at this facility in Mumbai. There are two plants in Mumbai that is making the industrial valve like APS-60 and these rubber line butterfly valve and others, especially like actuators and limit switches as well. Then Brazil is a service center. Then on the right here, Chongju is in South Korea, that's making this growth valve, linear resistance stem growth valve and actuator. So this is the only plant that makes the growth valve and this actuator. Then coming down, we have two plants in Shanghai and also in Jiaxing. Right. So these two plants are making the valve like the butterfly valve and ball valve. So they primarily is to support the China market. Sometimes, let's say in the urgency case, they also support customer in this Asia Pacific region, so the customer can get a faster delivery of the valve. Right. So this is overall about this NEDIS. So in NEDIS, we have this motto, right? Safety first. So everything that we do, we must take care of ourselves and also our colleagues. So we have a very stringent, HSE procedure to avoid any accident. So in our goal is that we want to have a zero injury. So having said that, to achieve this, so we work through a very stringent quality procedure or HSE procedure, so that's ensure to our customer that our product is also undergo stringent and systematic checking and performance checking. So our product will be good. All right. So some of references in the region, I just list out some of them. All right, we have a major player, like especially those industrial gas player like UOP, Linde, LG, Trax Air, and major contractors like Technip, like JGC, so on and so forth, and CPCI. And on the end user, we have player like we have a customer like Total, BP, Shell, Petronas, Pertamina, and also in Philippines, we have JG Summit and Petron. Right, so these are some of our customer base in the world. So next, I'll go through this NDS valve controller. Right. So in NEDIS, we have several these valve controller offerings. So what is a valve controller? So valve control, like the namesake, is to control the valve movement. Right. So on the control side, we'll break it into control modulating and control on off. So control modulating, we have like the ND9000, and lately we add this NDS into the product offering. Right. So for the on-off side, we have this valve guard. This is a intelligent solenoid. So what it does, it is used for those safety valve like shutdown valve or venting valve, and it can do partial stroke testing. All right, you can do it manually or automatic, right, through the frame or through this asset management. The next one will be high cycle valve. This is on-off, but for very high cycle. And where it is used? It is used mainly in those high cycle applications, such as the switching valve. During the polymer discharge, there's a lot of switching valve. So this valve operate very frequently, right? And many times, the user overlook to maintain the on-off accessories such as this type of controller. So it's also very important to maintain the on-off valve as well, right? Because on-off valve, high cycling, maybe the packing will be eroded, the seat will be eroded, so on and so forth. So this will be a device to monitor the valve and actuator health. Last but not least is the limit switches, all right? So today we are going to talk about this NDX, all right, due to time constraint, and hopefully it will bring some interest to you. So in this, we have many long years of this positional know-how and technology. So in lately in 2016 we launched this NDX. So we have original in 1996 we have ND9. Then we develop 2016 we develop NDX. And what's the reason for doing that? The reason for doing that is that first of all, it is always in Nelly's roadmap that every 12 to 15 years we will develop a new product to the market. And secondly is that because all these are smart controllers, there's a lot of electronic components in the device itself. So due to advance in technology, in the old parts like this ND9000, many of the components are becoming more difficult to source or to buy because due to the increasing advance of technology. So as such, nowadays we also have to develop our product to follow the supply chain of our components. Otherwise, we can't find them anymore. So as such, we have to make new product to adjust or to adapt to the market environment. And that's the reason why we come out with this NDX. So of course, this NDX will inherit all the know-how that we have done in the past. And this will be, I would say, as for now, the best of the best here. All right. So let's take a look about the NDX. What is so good about it? All right. So prior to that, we'll take a look, why are we using smart position? All right. The word smart meaning it is incorporating some kind of protocol. All right. That means it is able to think, it is able to do self-calculation, it can able to do some kind of self-adapting, performance due to the process condition. So that's what we call smart. And by doing that, you need electronic, you need programming, you need a CPU controller to do all this processing. It's like our mini computer. All right. So that's why we call it a smart controller. So a smart controller is able, of course, to control the amount of air to the actuator, right? And then the pressure of the actuator, and then we will move the valve. And second thing is that a good positioner will control accurately the valve movement, right? Based on the input signal to the controller. So the input signal is coming from where? Coming from the DCS. So DCS is the main frame, right, to control the process operation. So whatever the signal comes to the controller will output how much air into the actuator, and that air into the actuator will determine how much the valve movement. So as of all, long story short, this has no brain, this has no brain, this has a brain. So this is controlling the movement of the diaphragm or the air pressure inside, and also the valve movement. So this device is very important. And on top of that, it is able to do automatic calibration and configuration. What does it mean is that if let's say your plant have 100 control valve and they are of the same, I would say, same category, you can do it, you can do configuration online. All right, you can download the data of a configuration from the DCS into each of the valve rather than you go one by one and do it. But however, it is always user's preference to do it one by one. But what I'm trying to say, with a smart position, you can mass update the data and do a mass calibration or configuration. You just cut and paste the data configuration or the data parameter. Right. The most important of this smart position is that it is able to do diagnostic and utilize the diagnostic data to see the health or the valve package and then do a predictive maintenance. All right. So over the time, the NDS is able to capture how many times this valve can stroke up and down, and what is the load factor, in the valve movement. Is it getting more friction? So more friction, you need more load, and then so on and so forth. So from there, the data can be collected and studied, and then determine what parts are how do I say, is getting in the back consideration wear and tear, and you can prepare those parts. And then of course you can prepare this predictive maintenance in advance, right? 6 months or 1 year in advance. So that to make sure when you shut down the valve, you know this valve has problem, and then you change the correct part. So a good controller, he will control this very big variance and minimize it into a small variance. So from here to here, it is very critical because the end user will get a different quality of end products. Your end product want to be as good as possible, so the control of the valve must be as accurate as possible. That's what the smart positioner can do. Okay, next we go on a bit of this. What is our motto of coming up with this NDX? All right, we have 3 things that we had in mind. That is saving, safety, and reliability. All right, we focus these 3 points to deliver this NDX to our customer. In terms of reliability, all right, we want to make the installation as easy as possible. That means we want to make the mounting of the bracket and the mounting of the positioner onto the bracket as easy as possible, because in many times we realize that humans make error. So if there are more parts to install on the bracket or to the yoke, more error will be exposed to make. So you make it easier, less mistake will be rendered. And then of course we utilize all the proven and reliable technology. And last but not least, we want to eliminate the external mounting linkage. So as the valve stroke ups and down, all right, there's no linkage linked to the position. It is sensed by the magnet, of the it is sensed by the sensors and the magnet movement. The magnet will be mounted on the step. I'll show you in that picture. So long story short, there's no linkage between the positioner and the valve stem. All right. So no moving part, meaning it is less, sensitive to to corrosion of a link or the loosen of the screw and nuts on the linkage. All right. And under sunshine, rain, less corrosion on the link. So all these potential problem will be eliminated. So this will be a big, good feature to the customer, right, by eliminating this external linkage. Okay, the next one, in terms of saving, this positioner, it looks tiny, but it has a very big air capacity. So air capacity is the amount of air that's able to send to the actuator. So big capacity means it can send a lot of air and able to move a big valve. All right. So in the past, in the market, the positioner is very, I would say, less than half of this capacity. So many times to move a big valve, the end customer used to use external instrumentation such as volume boosters, quick exhaust valve, and so forth, in order to control a big control valve. Well, having a NDX with a big air capacity, you can eliminate those extra instrumentation. So it's less exposure to calibration of this complicated instrumentation, less error in tuning the instrumentation, so less at the end more efficient, that this NDX can perform. And also big capacity, the next thing we'll talk about air consumption. All right, many times air capacity will relate, the air consumption. But in this case, this NDX has very low air consumption. So for 80 normal meter cube per hour, the air consumption is only 0.1 normal meter cube per hour. All right. Okay, next one we will talk about ease. How easy to use. So this is easy to install, easy to use, and we can do calibration from the touch screen here, or we can do it through link it to external computer, or you can calibrate through your DCA. All right. So we have how do I say, different languages, but unfortunately we don't have Philippine Tagalog here. Alright, sorry. So, but it is being interoperative tested with all the major DCSs in the market. Alright, so we want to make sure this device is able to plug and play and install into various DCSs like Yokogawa, like Honeywell, like Emerson. So with all the DD files or EDD files, we have all the DTM, device type manager, to install into your frame so that your frame or your DCS can control and do diagnostic for this file. All right. Okay, in terms of reliability, I will show you how do I say what it means by the contactless positioner. So this is NDX. All right. So in this case, this is a linear rising stem. So the NDX, the sensors are located here. It's inside the enclosure. You can't see from outside. Then the magnet is installed with the valve stem. So this, in this case, is a linear rising stem. So when the valve stem moves, this magnet will go up and down. All right. This magnet goes up and down. The sensor will sense, the change in the magnetic field direction, and then determine what is the position of the valve. So no wear and tear. When it moves up and down, there's no linkage linking this stem and the positioner. So there's no linkage. The magnet is fixed, permanently fixed to the valve stem. All right. So there's no linkage between this valve stem and the positioner. That's what we mean here. All right. So there's no wear and tear between anything between positioner and the linkage. And the valve stem. The next improvement is that you have encapsulated electronics. So that's what it meant here. So our competitors are using all these electronics, but they are not encapsulated. So we we come up with NDX. We want to do something even better, so that we encapsulate this electronic to protect all the sensors, all the components, all the microchips. So water, dust, or this impurity cannot corrode the electronics. Because electronics are very important. All right. So the next one, a big advantage is that this dust tolerant. All right. So some cases the industrial air is always dirty. No matter how we try to clean it, filter it, but still dirty. So when it comes to this positioner, you will, how do I say, he will stuck some kind of component inside. So we understand this situation. So we develop this NDX to tolerate, higher dust tolerance. We can tolerate up to 40 micron, for this dust. Of course, we don't encourage you to put dirty air inside, but just in case, some of the filter regulator is not working well, it's not filtering air, but this device is still able to achieve 40 micron particles, size. So of course, we also encourage you to put a filter regulator for every device. All right. And then on the protection wise, standard will be IP66 and DMA 4X, and we put a plastic bag to cover this device during shipping. That's why it's IP67. Why we do that? Because in the plant or during a commission site, we saw many times, the positioner is sitting under the sun, under the rain, and the cover is open, things like that. So we thought, we want to put a plastic bag to seal it, so you only open up plastic bag when you need to use it. All right. So there's some little things that we do. Okay. On this contact measurement, like I explained just now, all right. So there's no contact here, so there's always a small little gap here, all right. In the IMO, 4.5 to 7.5 mm between this magnet and the sensor surface. All right. So on the linear side, we can stroke. The smallest is 5 mm. The highest is 120 mm. All right. The stroke length, up and down the stroke length. So you can see we can measure very small movement. That is for small valve until, I would say, medium to large size, 120 mm stroke length. We also working right now for 200 mm stroke length. So as of now, this 200 mm stroke length is still not launched yet, but it's on engineering request. But on the standard, we can move 5 mm to 120 mm stroke length, all right, up and down stroke length. So depends how big is your valve, all right. And this is for rotary type. So this is a pneumatic actuator, rotary type, and then we install this magnet on top here, and then we put a bracket, and then the NDA will sit on top of the bracket. All right, so mainly this is for quarter turn application. So this is a position measurement. All right, so when the magnet move, all right, so if the magnet move up and down, they will change the magnetic field direction. So the technology is that we measure the change in the magnetic field direction to determine, what is the position of the valve. All right. So when these are stroke up and down, the magnetic field direction change. Likewise, when these are quarter turn, so this magnet sitting here on top, it will turn accordingly. So by turning, we will change the magnetic field direction. So NDX will pick up, the sensors here will pick up, how much the valve has moved. So inside here, remember there's a controller. So all the algorithm is written inside. All right. So depending how much the movement, the algorithm will calculate, what is the position of the valve now. All right. So this is basically what it's telling you, for rotary and for the linear, when you move, direction has changed. Things like that. So that's how the controller can measure the change in the position of the positioner. Then this position can be used for single double acting, so it's very convenient. So you can buy, you can buy the double acting and you can use it for single acting as well. All right. And then we have a compact standard ESD. So what it means is that we have different type of approval like ESIA, intrinsically safe, or explosion proof approval. All right. You can support linear, rotary or linear valve assembly. So in this case, this is a rotary and this is a linear. And at this point, we have hard communication. All right. So we are working on the foundation field bars and profit bars. So at this point, this NDX only has hard. So if you have foundation field bars or profit bars, then we have to go back and use the ND9000. All right. So ND9000, as I said, is not going to phase out, after this NDS has come out, all right? Because there are still thousands and thousands of applications in the world, so we cannot just phase out ND9000 like that. So we will continue to have ND9000, at the same time we are developing this NDX. Then we have this type of options such as position transmitter. This is to feedback, to the user, what is the valve position now. So this here send the 4 to 20 million inside and power this device and control, the movement, but there's no feedback. So users sometimes they want this position transmitter, all right, as a separate circuit to feedback to the DCS room what is the valve position now. All right, so this is something it has an option. And we also have this digital output mode. So this act like a limit switches to feedback to you whether the valve is fully open or fully closed. All right, that's what it means here. All right. And then we can put pressure gauges like this on the device as a offering. So on the diagnostic side, which is important, we have two versions. We have standard and advanced diagnostic. All right. So depending on your need, by default we will supply a standard, and advanced diagnostic is something like an option. So there will be some kind of price added. All right. So these are pictures of these three types. The compact one, the standard one, and the explosion one. All right, that's how it looks like, just for information. Then on the display, all right, we have this touch screen. Not really touch screen, but it is capacitive type of touch screen. So that what it means that you need some kind of thermal temperature. All right. So if you wear your glove, you touch the button, you will not be able to move. All right, so you need to remove it. So you have an up and down button, the enter and the back button. This is the display for the valve position. All right. In terms of we can show it on the percentage or milliamp, and most helpful is every screen there is a tag number display. All right. So how you configure this? We can in the DTM setup, we can set up what is the tag for this valve or this positioner as you wish. All right. So this is something very useful. All right, we can rotate the display. All right, sometimes the valve is installed up, sideways, so you can rotate the screen. All right, the display outside here does not move, but the display will rotate. So this is something I would say many users happy about it. And then we have pin lock. Pin lock is for security, so you don't the pin lock is to avoid unnecessary setting change of the device. All right, some customers they like this feature. All right, then on the commissioning, all right, we have a kind of a guided startup. So guided startup is like like our smartphone startup. It will step by step how to do it. So when you power a device, all right, it looks something like this. You press menu, then you go to guided startup. Then the first one will be the screen rotation. So you can rotate the display, whether 0%, 0 degree, 90 degree, so on and so forth. All right. So let's say in this case, it's 0 degree. You just press enter. Then we move to this actuator type. So actuator type, you can select single or double active, all right, in one device. So this is so simple. You can select here, what type of actuator you will use with. So you can select single acting or double acting. Once you select, you just press enter. Next one will be a valve type. Valve type will be like linear rising stem valve or rotary quarter turn valve. All right, and select, then come to dead angle. Dead angle only applies to the ball valve. All right, so this is every ball valve there's different type, different dead angle. So the angle is to kind of if let's say the angle is 5%, you tell the positioner the angle 5%, so the positioner will know that during the first 5 degree of turning, the control is not utilized. Otherwise, you turn 5 degree, but the media is not going through the valve yet, so you're wasting the initial 5 degree of turning of this control. So this is like a kind of compensate the accuracy. But never mind, if let's say you didn't change anything, that is fine, no problem. All right. Then the next one will be the position field action. You want when it's failure of air or failure of it's like electricity, what you want the valve to do. You want to fail close or fail open. All right. So moving forward, we are working also on the fail freeze or fail last feature. So this is still in the development stage. Hopefully we can get this feature very soon. All right, that is a fail state. So as of now, we can have fail close or fail open. Then the last one will be the instrumentation. Whether you have extra instrumentation such as volume booster, quick exhaust valve, or both. If you don't have, we just select none. And after that, we can select calibration, we can select automatic. So you can see here, it's actually very straightforward. All right, after you do one time, second time you'll be expert. It's quite, I would say, guided, this process. So in terms of mounting, some pictures to show you. All right. So this is the stand. So we need some kind of coupler on the valve stand. All right. The purpose of having this coupler is to let this magnet to mount onto the coupler, valve coupler. Then after you can mount the bracket onto the yoke, and then lastly you mount the NDX onto the bracket. So you see there's no linkage between NDX and the valve stem. So this for linear. For the bracket, where we put the magnet, attached to this actuator shaft. And after that, we put the bracket, and then we mount the NDX on top. All right. So again, there's no linkage between NDX and the actuator stem. Okay, in terms of the saving, all right, just now we said already, it has a big capacity, 18 normal meter cube per hour, consumption 0.1 normal meter cube per hour. All right, so the same device can be used for big and small valve, and saving on the initial cost and maintenance cost, because there's no need for extra instrumentation. So on the pressure supply, up to 8 bar that we can do. Right, if you have case up to 10 bar, you let us know. We will ask engineering, the viability. Sometimes we need to check about the electronics. Then supply media can be air or nitrogens. Then on the particle size, up to 40 micron filtration. Then in terms of this humidity and how do I say, the oil class, we follow the international standard. So long story short, clean air to be supplied to the positioner. So these are some of electronics. We have a connection for 4 to 20 million comes in. This is loop power by this 4 to 20 million that's coming in. And also we have option for position feedback. All right. Then we also have this DO for NAMU. NAMO option to monitor valve open and close. Right? So by standard, we offer a HUD 6. But if you HUD 7 for new plant, all right, we can also select HUD 7. It's all inside already. There's no extra cost. All right, you can select, whether HUD 6 or HUD 7 in the setup. All right. So this is something the user is happy because sometimes they have old plant and new plant in their facility. In terms of approvals, we have ATEX, ICEX for ESD, ESIA, or non-incentive PSME. So for USA, sometimes some company they build the plant in let's say in Philippines, they still want CSA, or we also can offer that. Then we have local approval. We have different approval like Japan, in China, in Korea. We have different kind of local procedure. So this device up to CO2 certified or capable. Then you have HUD only, and it is conformed to this FDD DTM platform. So if your DCS using your FDD DTM platform, this device will talk to your DCS seamlessly. All right. So something about diagnostic. All right, I still have some few minutes. Something about this diagnostic. All right, this is actually very important, I would say, topic in this control. I would say smart controller. All right, we offer a free of charge DTM. DTM means device type manager. So we offer this type of window-based, how do I say, graphics, to show you what is the whole control valve health. More green means very good health. Like this is only half of good health, and this actuators in good health, valve in good health, environment such as the pressure and the temperature. Air pressure supply, and to the actuator or to the positioner, and also the temperature inside the positioner. And why it's important? Because if the temperature is too high, it will burn the electronic circuit. So it's only up to 85 degrees C. All right. In this case, the positioner is not doing well. All right. There's only this yellow color. So all this color are follow this international NAMO color code. All right. So this means that it is out of specification. So we need to do some kind of checking and maybe recalibrate this position. So you have it tells you many things like what is the valve position, what is the temperature, so on and so forth. And we can do something like the online valve signature. You will have this steady state deviation, meaning let's say your target is 50% open, and at the side actual, what is the real position. So maybe 50.1 or 50.2. So there's some 0.1 and 0.2 deviation. So this position is able to capture that. We also have valve, this histogram, and also the event log. Event log meaning what has happened, to the valve or to the actuator while you are sleeping. There may be a pressure drop or supply pressure, insufficient, or maybe there's some kind of or hunting or this turbulences that cause a spike in the pressure. This will record. Then we also can do offline diagnostic tests like multi-point step test, data test, signature test, partial test. All right, so these are the standard ones, standard diagnostic. All right, so we'll offer this type of DTM to you so that you can install in your computer. So for this DTM, it has to be Windows 7 and above. All right, so I think it's quite user friendly because nowadays the computer is at least Windows 10 already. So this valve signature, he will indicate to you what's the valve open pressure and closing pressure. So this is our patent design, and this is like how do I say, to show you what is this deviation. So the graphic is quite small, sorry, but yellow line is your setting. What is the permissible deviation that you allow. So when the valve start to stroke more, then the deviation become more and more. So that will give you kind of indication to the DCS room that telling you that this valve, the deviation has exceeded your limit. So from there, you know that this is having some issues. So you can look for open time slot to recalibrate the device. Sometimes it is quite normal when there's a valve cycle for a long period of time, especially frequent cycle, there will be some kind of deviation in deviation means the target position, for example, 50%, but the actual position becomes 50.1, 50.5. That is the deviation. All right. So after you recalibrate, it should be okay, back to original 50%. So what could be a reason for this deviation? It could be a valve friction of that, or actuator friction, or it can due to leakage in the tubing, or fittings, or change in the process condition. Sometimes, the process is quite turbulent, so it might cause some kind of deviation. All right. So this will be a good diagnostic, for your control valve. Then in terms of histogram, well, some user they mentioned that my valve I used to I expect to open around 50%. But why it is always open here? Because your valve is too big. All right. So for too big a valve, of course, you have too big a valve, meaning you only require to open a small opening to the required flow. So small opening, it will cause a lot of hunting. And if let's say the media consists some kind of particles, then this small opening, of course, the media going through a small opening will have a high velocity, and the media contain particle, it becomes a sandblasting. So you will cause some kind of erosion at the downstream of the valve body. So this is something it's good to know. Where is your valve normal operating condition? All right. If let's say good control valve will be around 40 to 60% or maybe 65. All right. If let's say most of the time it's here, the valve is too big. If most of the time it's here, the valve is too small. All right. So this is what the diagnostic can tell you. And this is the event logs. It tells you what's happened while you are sleeping or in the middle of the night. What is the event that happened with this valve. So all this will be recorded in the microchip itself. Right? So you can download through the DCS or through a computer. Right? Give me a few minutes. Thank you for waiting my house clock. I can't stop it. Okay, so this is an offline test. So we're multi-point test. All right, found then testing, but these are all offline while the plant is not running or the valve is in the workshop. So it's good to have multi-step test to know what is the valve performance when it's new, and before the service what's the condition, and after service what's the condition. So you can make a comparison. All right. So of the valve condition. If let's say after service the valve is still not able to meet your requirement, then it's a time to change the valve. All right. So I think I will show you some video. All right. So I will come to the video here. So this is the video of how we do this start installation. All right, we have this bracket, all right, that mounted on the yoke. Then we have this magnet mounted on the valve stem. Then we have this NDX mounted on the bracket. All right, so it's quite simple, but of course we need to make the correct bracket. So these are the pneumatic piping. So this is air supply coming in, and this is the air pressure going to the actuator. And this for the wiring. This is a control signal from your DCS 4 to 20 million coming in to connect to this port. And this is loop power to the electronic. and this is 4 to 20 million feedback to your control room. All right. And the next one will be this let's say this magnetic. All right. You guys can see my screen. I don't know whether you guys can see my screen. So let me start over again. So this is the magnetic. All right. So inside this NDX, all right, we have this magnet, or how is it, the sensors inside the circuit, and this is a magnet external. Right, the sensor is here. The magnet is mounted to the valve stem. So up and down, there's no contact, nowhere in that. Right, so it can last for a long time. Right, so this one something the user like it. And for the magnet, all right, we have done very extensive tests, in terms of heat, in terms of magnetic screw, in terms of temperature, the cold and the shock, magnetic shock, the dust, the water. So we've done extensively, to make sure, all these conditions will not affect the accuracy of the measurement. So we have a 120 mm stroke length, and we also have very small stroke length, like 5 mm. So this is amazing. You can use for big and small valve, and infinite is stroking time. Right. Okay, so I'll share with you the next one. Hang on, share. One. Oh, and share. Oh. So this is the pneumatic inside. All right, we have a pre-stage. Pre-stage meaning to pilot the air pressure, to push the diaphragm, and this type of opening to make sure how big the opening open, and then move to the actuator. So bigger opening will be more air. And how is the opening? It's all controlled by the 4 to 20 mm here to the pre-stage, and this for exhaust. So this just for information. All this will be enclosed in the device, so you will not be able to see it. But just to let you understand, how we use 4 to 20 mm and convert into pneumatic. Right.
Hello, Boon. I think we are not seeing your video. We are seeing your folder. Probably you share the wrong one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me try again. I share this. So let me stop sharing. I will share screen. Share this on my screen. So Chiwi can see now.
Yes. We can see your player now.
Hang on. Now I cannot move. Wait, let me stop this. Okay, let me share this. Give me a second. Share screen. So I have to go through step by step. So you can see my screen, Kiwi?
Yes, can.
Good, thank you. Okay, I repeat. Sorry for my delay. So this is pneumatic. There's a pre-stage. There's a convert 4 to 20 into air. So pre-stage will pilot the air in here to move the compartment here. So depending on the signal, then you determine how big the opening. So bigger signal, 20 mm, will make the opening bigger. So all the bigger compressed air comes in, go to the actuator and move the valve. And likewise, when you decrease the milliamp, then the compartment will move, and then all the actuator air will now exhaust to atmosphere, to close the valve. Right. So this is all inside the device. It's not to worry, but just to let you know there's something inside like this, right? So this NDS can be used in different type of valve, big and small, ball valve, group valve, butterfly valve, back and pin actuator, any type of actuator and big capacity, you don't need extra instrumentation, right? So that will make your, this piping easier, right? Easy to commission, easy to tune, right? So the last one, okay, let me see the last one. That will be one more to go. Please bear with me. This is a startup, how you do calibration. Give me a minute. I will share screen. Okay, startup. So this is a startup, all right, to do calibration. So when the device is new, you power it up, right? You will see the screen like this, all right? So here's up and down button, this is enter, this is back, all right? It's like your smartphone. And once you power the device, power, then the screen is, upside down. So we can rotate the screen. So if I just start up, we can screen rotation, we can set up and down, then we can rotate the screen, all right? So next one will be linear and fail safe, and then with the manual calibration or automatic calibration, right? So it's all done, I would say. It's guided. Then press these two buttons together and you start. Right? You can do it manually, and you do it, or you can do it by computer. And then it show you, whether this calibration is successful, things like that. Finish. And then now it's ready to go. Right? Very easy to use. Right? So you have any interest for this, please let us know. Like I said, this positioner is very important, right, to make sure your process is under very well control, so that your valve is your product is getting the correct grade. And lastly, we give you the diagnostic, to help you do preventive or predictive maintenance. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Any questions from the floor? Anybody?
Thank you from Liling Commercial.
Thank you.
We have a question. We have one question for you, sir.
Yes, please, ma'am.
The question goes, hold on.
Okay.
The question is, what is the cost for the control valve? That's from Jotham Dayandan.
What is the cost?
What is the cost for the control valve? So at least I think that's part of the quotation, or when you're asking for the price. The one who asked the question, sir, is Mr. Jotham Dayan. You can just directly contact Sir Jotham. Kindly contact or send a message to our product presenter, Mr. Thayam Boon, for him to disclose to you the prices of their products. Okay,
Sure.
would that be okay?
Yeah, you can also get in touch with Liling Commercial, to Sir Sansing or to Sir Mike. We have a big team of Liling team, so we can get back to you.
Yes. All right. For further information or contact information of Liling Commercial, you can just go to our CHB Secretariat, Miss Livette Salon. She has the contact number of the marketing or the company Liling and Nellis. So thank you so much, Sir Thiam Boon. And now at this juncture, since it's already time for us to replenish our stomachs, for us to get more energy for this afternoon's event, we will take a 1 hour break and we'll be back at 1 o'clock. So for the Zoom attendant or participants, you can just you can leave the room, you can stay in the meeting room. We will just leave it on and broadcast live to you here from Big Hotel. So everyone, let's meet again at 1 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And have a great lunch.
Thank you. Take care.